Why? Because we are all pretty much indoctrinated into a concept that doesn't understand that we are reliant on aina. Economy is not the foundation of life. Economy is not the foundation of life. Water cycles are the foundation of life. Ecosystems, from mountains all the way down to the depth of the sea, are the foundations of life. Economy is not the foundation of life. But we have sacrificed everything for economy. For me, that's why I'm in this movement. That's what sparked me to fly. But because literally, for my generation and the generations under us, we right now, can any of you guys promise RKT that they'll be able to breathe clean air in 20 years? We cannot even promise that. Can we promise RKT in 20 years they'll be able to have fish in the ocean? We cannot promise them that. Because we're too concerned with paying bills. We're too concerned with getting the next, high fashion product. Because we have been indoctrinated into that thought. We, even as Kanaka Mauli, will stand up and we will fight. But when I gotta clock out, I gotta go back to work. It's a sad reality. I'm not saying it. Yeah, I'm right now trying to figure it out myself. I'm supposed to start work next week. I'm trying to figure it out. But it's a reality. Mauna Kea, this stand right now. I've spoken many a times that Mauna Kea is a microcosm. What we are dealing with at the summit of the Mauna, it is a microcosm of what's happening on the whole planet right now. We only have so much. The Western world has marched us into a conceptual way of thinking that we can continue on a linear scale. We're on a finite planet. You cannot operate a linear system on a finite planet. Bring that right here onto our island. How many guys heard the phrase? He ba'a, he moku, he moku, he ba'a. The canoe is an island. The island is a canoe. That very same concept. So when you're on a ba'a and you set sail for Kaiki, yeah, you hope you make it in 30 days. But you only get so much bai, you only get so much food, you only get so much kanaka to do whatever needs to be done to make it. So you need to be very, very conservative. You have to make sure everyone is taken care of because everybody is crucial on the ba'a. The ba'a itself has to be taken care of. I've taken to a point we gotta expand that Onaro no Eao. He ba'a, he honua, he honua, he ba'a. The canoe is the planet. This planet is the canoe. You know what Pele Honua Mea and the Pele clan, they come to Hawaii on this great canoe. What's the name of the canoe? Honua Kea. The great expansive earth. That is the name of the ba'a that brings the fire god to Hawaii. It is a name for this planet. We are a great canoe floating through the Moana Nui that is the universe. But we're operating as if everything is just, endless. Our kupuna knew that. That's not true. That's why we had some strict couples, yeah? Go ahead, go catch the wrong fish, wrong time of the year. See what happens. Now, from a point how they experience, they're getting, oh my God, they kill you over a fish? Hawaiian thought, what makes you any better than a fish?
Right.
That especially when that couple is set. When do we normally have that fish on the couple? During their mating season, so they can reproduce. So that fish is because we need to malama that because the life cycle of that is gonna be able to make more. And in its process of creating more, it's not just to feed us more things. How many eggs would fish lay? Chocolate. Some of those eggs gonna be eaten by other things. Some of those eggs gonna get a little bit bigger to eat the other things. Some of those eggs will go into fish are gonna help us eat other things. It's all part of a whole cycle. And our kupuna knew this. So when they saw that, somebody who was so rakai, so greedy, can catch the fish and I don't care, I want it now. The punishment was intense. The punishment was intense because what are they truly trying to kill? What was the actual thing our kupuna was trying to bring?
The spirit of greed.
Greed. That is what our kupuna was trying to get. They would not allow that greed factor to overtake the need to malamaaina. There's a so we think of that manao. I have my hypothesis. How did we get to that point? How did our companies become so strict about natural resources? I get my hypothesis. My hypothesis is they would learn the hard way. I think our kupuna would learn the hard way. We're not perfect. We have fossil evidence of giant flightless goose in Hawaii. A boa. Some of these fossils have been found in the mountains here. I heard on Hawaii. But these are like 6-7 foot tall, like goose birds. And I think the last fossil evidence says they died out about 900 to 1,000 years ago. That's totally within our time frame of our kupuna. I don't know, as my hypothesis, that we might have hunted them to extinction. And I think our kupuna would learn from that. And was full on it, oh my God, we actually wiped that out. We can never allow that to happen again. No one human life is more important than malamay the rest of other life. That's why you could harvest one koa tree from the mountains. What did it take? A human mohai. It took human sacrifice. So we were chopping down the forest at will. No. Mahalo when the tree fall down on its own. Mahalo when the big driftwood come in. Because you come into the Kuahidi to take the life of one of the great giants of the mountain. That is not a small thing. So for me, I'm not saying we're going to return to that.
No.
But to take the manao, the thought of that, of how important it is to malama na aina, our kupuna, and stop looking at our kupuna as natural resources. We have to look at them as all of our mo'okuahau from our kumulipo and everything establishes as ohana and as kupuna. How do we go into the aina and be able to gather these things? First thing you gotta do what though? You better give back. To me, if you're a fisherman and you don't feed the ocean, stop fishing. If you're a hunter and you don't go malama the forest, stop hunting. But you know what? You cannot. Because we need you to malama the forest. We need our fishermen malama in the ocean. That little girl who just came in horning me before she left, from Miloli'i. What is Miloli'i most famous for?
Fishing.
Not just the fishing.
The traditional fishing.
Of doing what? Of feeding the fish. Above all things, that is what Miloli'i is the strongest blessing. Is that they still continue to go out and feed the fish. Some people, most everybody has forgotten that part. They will go out there just to feed fish. They don't go and go fishing every single time. One kupuna taught me, what's the sacred number in Hawaii? Eha. Eha. 4. Hawaiians, we don't count with our fingers. We count with the gaps in between. Our traditional number system is based on a count of 4. Why? You put the fish tail over here or the cod or whatever, you count everything like 4. One kupuna taught me, you give, you take. You give, you take. That way you're always stocking. You're always making sure that the resource is plentiful. Nowadays, we ask backwards. We're taking, and maybe we might give. In most cases, now we just take. What are we giving back? Our pollution. I get heated about this because, the institutions that say they're educated, why are they not pushing this stuff? Why are we not creating industry or creating jobs based on this? For me, getting out there and malamaing the koa, the fishing koa, making sure that the forest, that the baile and the forest, all that is malaman. That's what these DLNR officers should be doing right now. And we should only get like 20 officers. We should have hundreds of them. In every single community, not Nino gotta drive to Hilo, come school you. In each community, the people of that community need to be the koa, need to be the officers, need to be the protectors of that community. Kauai. Any Kauai o ano yun? Up the kind. Way down. What's the end of the road down there?
Kalahali or Kea?
Kea side.
Kea
Isn't
side.
there a project that they've done with the community?
Yeah.
I'm just hearing about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone else could probably speak better to it. But I heard that's a project that they kind of have to create again, but they got kind of this better relationship with the community is becoming the stewards of the coastline and everything, and they have more say. They should just be given all the say, but it's a step.
Yeah.
So, that's the kind of things we start thinking. For me, in this movement, I've had to stop and acknowledge a couple things. What's some of the biggest arguments they give us in the stance for TMT?
The damage is already done.
That's one.
Benefits humanity.
Jobs.
Job.
You ask most of any of our local people that support TMT, it's mostly that. Jobs would bring income. Why? Because the settlers over here, the settler system has kept us so impoverished that they can just, any kind of crumbs they throw off, we're fighting for. When it shouldn't be that. So, for me, I acknowledge that, okay, yes, we are stopping some local jobs. I admit, yes, we are. When we had a meeting with Governor Ige just the other week, last week, I have no idea what day it is. Whatever the hell I met with him. You know, we asked him straight up, what is your biggest concern? Why are you so invested in this? What's the biggest thing? One, they don't like PMTs to the state. Two, and probably the biggest thing, is the business organizations here, or the business community, is on him because they're convinced, as they've been saying, that if we don't get this TMT pushed through and built, it's going to be bad publicity for business in Hawaii. They are convinced that if this project doesn't go through, we are going to dry up like a prune because no businesses will come to Hawaii. I said, hell yeah! Hawaii will be a bad place for bad businesses. So any more bad businesses that think they're going to come in here, push our people around, destroy our natural ecosystems, we're going to run your parts out of here. Yes, Hawaii will be a bad place for bad business. We should have started that 100 years ago.
Yes.
So, with that, let's look ahead. As we're standing guard here, we all must look ahead. How then do we malama those families who are depending on the income from this job? What other industries can we create here and now that sits in our values as Kanaka? You heard Kalikoa's presentation earlier. Kumulipo, all these different mo'okua, how all these different genealogical chants, all of it establishes our pilina to Aina. Yeah? The whole concept. For me, indigenous people, native peoples of the land, is when you live in a point and in a way that you are part of your land. For me, I don't care how much cocoa you get. Hawaii is if you live Hawaii. Japan with plenty cocoa, but they don't live nothing Hawaiian. Japan have no cocoa, but they live very Hawaiian. So I don't really care about cocoa. I'm one that says that straight up. Unless you're going to use that cocoa thing to do actually something for Hawaii, what's the point? Because every single Kanaka, every single human is indigenous, native to this planet. If I ask you what your ethnicity is, your answer is a land base. We all come from a point in time where our kupuna lives so intimately with the natural environment, with our aina, that our own name for who we are was the name of the land. What else am I? I'm Irish, I'm Scottish, and Filipino. My aina, my identity are those land bases. Because all of those people, all of those Kupuna lived at a time in a way that their pili was at Aina. They were part of the natural ecosystem. Where the hell did we get separated when we talk about nature? We always talk about nature as if it's over there,
Right.
and we're over here.
Right.
Where did that alien concept come from? Where we removed ourselves in the calculation of natural environment.
Religion, yeah.
It started with the religion, a religion that put us up on high, seeing us as above everything else and separate them. That's our biggest problem. No matter what big city you live in, far away, than New York City in the middle of concrete jungle, it is still the trees and the mountains that's giving you your breath. It is still the clouds moving that's going to give you your water. It is still the plankton in the ocean that's giving you your heart, that's bringing fish to your door. No matter how far away you think you're getting from nature, you are still completely reliant upon it. That is an inseparable thought to the Kanaka, to the Maui. So, back to it. Ola ka aina, ola ke Kanaka. One of the biggest problems I see with TMT, and not just with TMT, but with many other situations that we're dealing with Hawaii, is we too easily bought off. Again, because they've kept us very oppressed and in a state of low income and everything. So whenever little crumbs are thrown off, our people are struggling. Yeah? So we will end up having to do the things that's conflicting even in our own hearts and our own spirit. Yeah? Officers will come here and arrest their own grandparents because I gotta pay my bills. You know what that is? That's slavery. That is straight up slavery without chains. Debt is slavery. And we have been conformed into it. Understand that process has only been around in Hawaii for like barely 150 years. We existed thriving for thousands of years on these same islands before that. So for me, there's already a template out there. We don't have to recreate the wheel. But we need to stop waiting for somebody from outside to come and bring us what we're going to be able to survive on, what I'm going to pay my bills on, what I'm going to take care of my families on. Create it. We need to be the creators of these things. Huli kalima ilalo. When we say huli kalima ilalo, turn the hands downward. We're not only talking about farming. The depth and concept of that is quit begging. Quit waiting for them to give us something. Turn our hands down and do the work. Create the industry. Create that job. Create those things. Take charge. I'm sick of seeing foreigners move over here and then they make all the job industry and we all gotta work under them. And then we try to help them out because they most time it's wrong. Or they're doing something wrong, so we try to help them. Should just be us. The people who live here. Now, I reiterate back, now we can look at the kuleana that our people had. And we can create from that. Kanakalavaya, our fishermen, our fishing industry, you know how sad it is that most of all the fish served in Hawaii is not from Hawaii. And that's because our fisheries are dying. Our fish populations are tanking. Hamakua, we still fierce protecting our coastline. But how do we get cliff faces? Because if not, we'll be wiped out. A lot of it has to do with because of the economics. People gotta go. If they gotta pick all the OP, they will. Why? Because they get the bills for their house coming up. And that again should not be an excuse, but it's a reality. It is a reality. But we need to be forward thinking. If not, we are the creators of our own demise. Now you can barely go down to our coastlines over here. It's full of hotels and everything. Who built the hotels? Our own people. Who built up the gate? Our own people. When are we going to recognize that we are part of this? We're enslaved. That's what for me this movement is saying. Enough. We don't need They have to just suck off the tit of any kind of another industry that comes up from the outside.
Woo!
We can build it from here. Look what magic we have already made just from Lahui. Kukulu Kumuhana. I read back there. Kukulu Kumuhana, that was the name of those summer camps when I was a kid. But that manao, that concept is vital to now. Kukulu Kumuhana. Kukulu! What is Kukulu? To build upon, to become great and solid like a pillar. Kukulu. Kukulu Kumuhana. To come together as one to complete a task. We want to see our nation rise? Right on. It ain't going to be nothing from the damn UN going to come down to magic hip-hop and oh, now you're free. It don't start with that. Guys, we're not even feeding ourselves. We don't want enough forests to sustain us. We don't want enough rivers to sustain us. It ain't going to change with a constitution. It starts with this, what we see happening right now. Collective thought to change. But again now, Ola Kaaina, Ola Kikanaka. Okay, we've had a few other chiefs walking here. King so-and-so, princess so-and-so, whatever. I'm like, I don't like hear from you. My number one ali'i is the Aina. He ali'i ka Aina, he kaua ke kanaka. For the land is the chief. The people, be the servants. We honor our ali'i, we malama the ali'i, in return the ali'i feeds us. So, I have seen more action from all of you guys. More change for our whole Lahui in 2 weeks than I have for many of these other guys. Own it. Own your power again. And when you all own your own, when we all own our own power and we bring our power together, that's how we're going to save Hawaii. So, forward thinking. I encourage everybody now. There's a number of different things where we can already look at industries or economics or things that we do to support our financial situations. But how can we bully these things so that they are not degrading our own aina? Okay? As an example, we get any ranchers? Where's the rancher? Not this group, okay. But, you know, I'm from Honaka, Hamakua side, and, you know, Paka Ranch, everything. And so here's a thought. To be able to look at industry through the mindset of our kupuna. Okay? Now, I know, we're not Hamakua right now. Paniolo heritage is a beautiful part of our history. It's also a very destructive part of our history. You see all this bullethead mountain? From the cattle, from the sheep. This was all forest. We love the beautiful rolling hills of Waimea. 150 years ago, you guys, it was all forest. It was all forest. One of the biggest things that took it out, cattle. Chopping down of hundreds and hundreds of acres for fences. All that kind of stuff. The precious hardwoods, all getting... We did that. But that's okay. We gotta learn from that. But there's things that we can do and change right now. So I'm not a rancher. I grew up with ranchers. Sometimes I used to go help on the ranch and stuff. But now let's think about things. We know that that's a harmful industry the way that it's being conducted right now. Okay? Yet, with all our grass-fed local beef, still almost 75% of all the beef sold in Hawaii comes from Texas. What's wrong with that?
You ship Hawaii away.
We gotta keep it here. But here's the manao. Now we have one small ranch in Ahualoa. And they're going into something called low-line beef. Ever heard of it? Low-line beef. So you know your typical Angus beef that you buy in a store and stuff? Wow, these are not natural cows. Not GMO, but like they've been bred to get bigger and bigger and bigger by humans. We bred them, mixed so they get it so big. The concept being, the bigger the animal, the more meat it's going to produce. My sister works for the cattlemen's industry, and a basic concept for them is you need at least 1 acre per Angus. Yeah? So average that out on the size of different herds. Yeah? Now, with low-lying beef, these are kind of getting older older strains of cows, and they're cute, short, stuffy little things. Yeah? They're like maybe this tall. Mauna Kea. And typically what it is now, you can get 2.5 head of cattle per acre. Okay? Now, they're smaller animals, but once they dress out, it actually produces a higher yield of beef than the one big Angus. If you look at that, you get so much momona on the stuff, and then because they're so big, the muscle structure is so much tougher, and that's a big belly. It's a big empty cavity that you're not getting any meat out of. So when you look at it, you can have 1 acre with 1 Angus, or 1 acre with 2.5 head of low-lying beef that actually produces a higher yield and actually a higher quality beef. My auntie and French, they mostly right now, they can only handle so much, like Merriman buys their meat. It's because it's prime, good quality. So imagine that concept. If we were able to work with our local ranchers to invest now, where now, instead of having to take care of 1,000 acres of pastures and only produce so much beef, they could actually cut their their acreage of pasture in half and produce even a higher yield of quality beef. What can we do with the other half of the pasture we got back? We put our forest back. There's a level of intelligence there. Economically savvy too. We can actually produce more. Yeah, at a higher yield, and we can help to malamar aina. It's a big thing for me to get the ungulates out of the mountains. We can have particular areas where we have the goats or the bufflan and all this kind of stuff. Now, that's one example of seeing different industries, but approaching things from a cultural perspective. Now, here we go. It's a way that we're able to still malama our forests, cut down on the use of land, and be able to put nutrients back onto the aina.